In the previous tutorial, we have seen that how to take the user's input by using input function. So I hope you have already done the practice with the input function. Um, in today's session, I'll talk about the control statements. So what is control statement? Understand it. Whenever we write our program, that program contains a number of statements. The number of statements varies according to your problem statement. So an application can contain 100 and 1,000 lines of the statements, but there is a requirement where we want that the particular set of instructions should run on the basis of certain condition. So in that case, we will control our flow. We will control the flow of our programming. So that is called the flow control. So look at here. So many a times we want a set of instructions to be executed in one situation and an entirely different set of the instruction to be executed in another situation. So this kind of situation is dealt in the Python programming programs using a decision control instruction. So what is a decision control? In decision making structure, programmer specifies, means those who write the program specifies one or more conditions to be evaluated or checked by the program on the basis of by the program. So we write the conditions on the basis of the result, means whatever the condition you will write. So on the basis of that result, and remember this one, that result must be a Boolean result, and we know that the Boolean can have only true or false. So on the basis of that result, either true or false statements gets executed. So look at the scenario, and then I'll discuss about the conditional statements in Python. From today and onwards, I'll use the Eclipse for writing the code. If you don't know that how to configure the Eclipse, then you can go and see the tutorial that I have already uploaded. And if you are using another ID, so it is fine. You can write your code on another ID like Jupyter um, or any other ID that supports the Python programming. So look at the code. Suppose I'm writing one print statement that is that says that the statement one. So this is my statement one. So I can write as many as number of statements. So according to our requirement, I will write this. Look at here. So I'll mark number as number 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'll write 6, and this is the 7. This is one program that solve any problem statements. Just understand, we will take an hypothetical situation that these 7 statements can solve a problem. So when your program will execute, then first of all the statement 1 will execute. After that is statement 2, then is statement number 3, then is statement number 4, and after that all the statement will execute. So look at the output. So first of all, let's run it. So run as the Python run. So as you can see, the output is a statement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the situation is we want that these statement means 1, 2, 3 should be run on the certain condition. If that condition gets true, then these statements should be run, and another 4 statements from 4 to 5 should be run on another condition. Okay, I don't want that that these piece of the code run every time. We want that these statements should run on the basis of a certain condition. If that condition gets true, then the statement should run, otherwise these statements should not run. So we want to control that these 3 statements should run on the basis of certain condition. So that is called the control flow decision making statements in programming. So how to do this in our programming? So we write the conditional statements. This is an abstract representation. Just look at here. When we start our program, it will start from here. Then one condition will be checked, and if that condition gets true, then those statements that is under the control of that condition will execute, and our program will execute in the flow. There may be a situation that is the condition can be true or false. So if that condition is false, so these statement that is under the control of true, in the case of true, will not execute, and your program will pass on those statement and will execute another statements. This is an abstract representation of your conditional statement. And one more thing, just remember this one. In Python programming, Python assumes any non-zero value, okay? Any non-zero value as true. And zero and none we have already seen one data type. So zero and none as false value in programming. So for the flow control, Python provides some keywords and some syntaxes that we need to follow. So conditional control statements, we use the if condition, if statements. We can use if in four ways. One is if, another one is if else, second one is if elif else, that is called the ladder form of your if, and another one is nested if statement. After that, we can repeat our statement as many as number of times if we want. Then in that case, we write the iterative statements. Iterative means repetition of the statement for the certain time. So for that, we use the loops, and in Python, you will find while loop and for loop. So here, first of all, we will see that how to use the conditional control statement, that is if. So how to use the if in our program? If block contains the condition, first of all, understand that whenever we want that the particular set of statements should run on the basis of conditions, then we will write the if block. That what is the condition? So if block contains the condition. If condition is true, okay. If the condition is true, then the statement will execute, and if the condition is not true, means false, then the statement will not execute. Just look at here. The syntax. So if we write here the expression, that expression will be your Boolean expression, means the result must be true or false. And after that, we put the colon. Don't forget to put the colon. Why? I'll discuss about it. And after that, we will write the statements. And look at here, the statement that you want should be under the control of this if, you must be right inside the if, and that is called indentation. Okay, so after colon, you will write any number of the statement that is intended under the if will be under the control of this statement. So statement must be intended. Look at here the block diagram to understand this flow. Your program will start, and after that, if we find if that program finds any conditional statement, so first of all it will check that condition can be true or false. So if that condition false, your program will execute normally, and will not execute those statement that is under the control of if statement. And if that condition gets true, so the statement that is under the control of if statement will execute. So what is the indentation? First of all, understand that indentation. After that, we will write some piece of code to understand the if block. If you have learned the previous programming language, any programming language like C, C++, Java, so we know a concept of blocks. And to make a block, we use the curly brackets. And block represents the control, okay? So Python doesn't provide the curly brackets to indicate blocks of code. Understand this one. We will not use any curly brackets for making the blocks. And block could be of your conditional statements, loops, classes, functions. So we will not use these curly brackets. Block of code are codes are denoted by the line indentation in Python. which is rigidly enforced by the Python. Means if you don't follow this indentation, you will get error. Okay, so whenever you write, since this is one new syntax and you are going to learn, so maybe you will get some error, but when you will have the practice, then you will go through it. Generally, we use the tab for the indentation. Indentation means the spaces, the number of spaces, and the number of spaces in for the indentation in whole program must be same. Okay. Thus, in Python, all the continuous lines intended with same number of spaces would form a block. So to form a block, we use the colon and the number of spaces, mean the indentation. So let's see. For example, here is the if statement I'm going to write, and I say that there is a variable that is 10. If a is less than 10, the value of a is less than 10, then these three statements should be run. So I will write one statement that if a is less than 10, okay. So if a value is less than 10, then this condition will be true. And after that, I want that these statements should be executed. So first of all, I'll write colon. Just look at here very attentively, that colon, and put the statements that you want should be under the control of this if. So must be intended. So first of all, I write and I'll press one tab, then another. So I want that these three statements should be under the control of if. So if a is less than 10, then these piece of code will execute. Otherwise, these piece of code will not execute. So now I'm controlling my program. So run this program. Run as Python. So as you can see, the value of a is not less than 10. So that's why this condition gets false. So if the condition is false, so these statements will not execute. And after that, these controls that you can find here are not under the control of if block. So these statements will execute normally. So as you can see, only 4, 5, 6, and 7 statements are executing. Now, if I change this a value as 1, so now the condition will true. So now, if the condition is true, then it will go into the block of if block and execute these statements. Now run this program to understand the flow. Python run. So now here you can see that the statement 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the statements are executing. Why? Because this condition is now true. Okay, so according to your condition, as per your requirement, you will write the condition over here and you will write the statement that you want to execute on the basis of that condition gets true. Okay, so I hope this statement is this conditional statement using if is clear now, and indentation is also. Let's see, do some programming. Program to display a number if it is negative. So we'll take the user's input and we will display if the number is negative. Otherwise, we will not display that number. So for that, I will write here n is equal input. I'll take the user's input and here I will write enter a number. So here user will input some number and since that number is integer, so I'll convert all the numbers into int. The program's requirement is display a number if it is negative. The number is negative if that n is less than 0. Okay, if that number is less than 0, then that number is negative. So variable, that is n. So I'll print input number here. You have entered and n. And after that, I will write bye-bye. Now run this program, run as Python. So here you can see that it is asking enter the number. So I'll give one number that is -1. So you have entered -1. Fine. Run one more time. Run as and enter the number that is 10. So you can see that the number, if I enter the number that is positive, it is not printing. Why? Because I'm controlling this statement on the basis of this condition. If the number is less than 0, then it will print, because the program's requirement is if the number is negative, then print it. Okay. And bye bye, you can see that bye bye is printing because it is not under the control of any statement. Write a program to greet hello if the number is positive. Now, next program's requirement is print the hello and if the number is positive. So I will write like input a number. If number is positive, means that number must be greater than 0. Okay. So if number is greater than 0, then I'll print hello. Hello there. Okay. And if the number is not positive, so this greeting should not be there. And I will not print bye-bye. Now run this one. So enter a number that is 1. So hello there. So 1 is positive number. Another one is I can write that is -1. So as you can see, there is no output. So by using if statement, you can control your program. Another statement that you can use in your program is if else. So if else means we write the condition into the if block. Just remember this one. We don't write the condition in else block. Sometimes a student um, do this wrong practice that they write the condition into the else block and they get the errors. So understand and remember this one, that we don't write the condition into the else part. If block contains the condition, if the condition is true, then the statements of if block will execute. And if the condition is false, then the statement of else block will execute. So in the situation of this one block will always execute. If the expression is true, then a statement of if block will execute, and in that case else will not execute. And if the condition is false, then a statement of if block will not execute, the statement under the control of else block will execute. So look at here, this control flow. If your program will execute, and first of all it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then body of if will execute, the block of will execute, if execute. And if the condition is false, then the body of else will execute, and your program will um, execute rest of the program, rest of the statements. So let's do some coding practice. So write a program to check that a number is positive or negative. Okay, so look at here. I'll take the user's input and check whether the number is positive or negative. So if a number is greater, I'll take 0 as positive. If number is greater than or equal to 0, then number is positive. I'll print number is positive. Okay, number is positive. And if this condition gets false, so automatically one condition will get true, that number is less than 0. Okay, so we don't want to write that condition. That condition gets automatically true. Just understand the scenario, like if you have a coin, then if you get a head, means you are not getting the tail, and if you are not getting the tail, it means you are getting the head. So one condition is true, then another will be false, and if another one is true, then next one will be false. So in that case we use the if else statement. So else I'll print that the number is negative. Run this one. So I'll input 1. So number is positive, and if I run one more time, input the number that is -1. So number is negative. So as you can see, we have written that number of statements that should be print, that is 1 and 2. But when our program is executing, then only one statement is printing. Okay, so this is called the control. Okay, so according to your requirement, you are controlling that which part of the code should be run, should be executed. Write a program to check whether a number is even or odd. So to check that the number is even or odd, the definition says if any number divisible by 2 means the remainder is 0 after dividing by 2, that number is even, otherwise that number is odd. So we'll take the user's input into n and we'll check that if the remainder of that number is equal to 0. Okay, if the remainder means after dividing that number by 2, if the value is equal to 0, then that number is even, and if that number is not divisible by 2, that number is odd. So according to your requirement, so I'll give you I'll give the input as 12, then number is even, fine. And if I input a number as 11, then number is odd. So in this way you can control your program. So this if statement can have as many as number of a statement, but that statement must be intended. Just remember this one. Write a program to find the greater number between two numbers. Okay, so for that I'll take two numbers from the user, n and just n1 and n2. Here I'll copy and paste. Copy and paste this one. Enter the first number. Enter the first number. Enter the second number. Okay. So if number 1 is greater than number 2, it means the first number, or you can write like this: n1 comma is greater than comma n2. And if this condition gets false, it means n2 is greater than n1. So I'll write n2 is greater than n1. Run this one. So I'll enter the first number as 10, second number is 20. So here you can see that 20 is greater than 10. Okay, same I can write. I'll input 12 and 6. Though you can see here is 12 is greater than 6. So this statement is executing. So according to your requirement, you can control um, whole statements. So I hope if else is also clear. So that's all for this video tutorial. I'll discuss more about if else, ladder form, and the nested if, and rest of the part in the next video tutorial. If you like this video and if you have enjoyed, then please subscribe to my channel. There are so many things that will cover into the next video tutorial. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of the latest videos. So please comment, like, and share this video. Thank you for watching this video. Bye-bye.